We're back. It's another edition of Jeff and Jeff here on Orange Bloods Live, and it's a SEC Championship edition of Jeff and Jeff. This video brought to you by Groggy Dog. You guys know the drill by now. If you've watched this video all year long, you know that Groggy Dog is your branding expert, a full-service promotional products company. They want you if you're a school. They want you if you're a business. They want to do your screen printing jobs, your embroidery, or your promotional products, whatever you might need. Let them be the service that takes care of you with great product, great customer service, and they love them some Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
Jeff, here we are. We've been doing these videos all season long, and now on the 13th week, an actual championship is on the line. Before we get to the little matter of the playoffs, how are you feeling about this week?
I'm excited. My takeaway, kind of where I've landed in my mental headspace, is that Texas is well aware of the level they're going to have to play in order to defeat this Georgia team. And again, I think they had an idea going into the regular season meeting, but Georgia punched them in the mouth early. Turnovers and just the sheer level of intensity of the game, and it took Texas too long to get their level of play up there. So I'm excited to see how we come out and how we respond here now that we've got this rematch against the mighty Dogs of Georgia.
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I haven't done a show where a rematch
Froze up.
Much for those that don't know what we do on for each week in every single game. A lot of times it's projections. A lot of times it's what we think how a game might play out. What we haven't had is a full 60 minutes of two teams playing, leading us into the next game.
Yeah,
I'm a little curious to see how much of what we're looking for is completely predicated upon what happened last week or a few weeks ago, I guess a couple of months ago when these two teams played, and how much is completely original thought. I have a feeling we're going to lean on the 60 minutes played in Austin quite a bit while discussing this game. Let's just jump right into it. You are first at bat. The number one thing that you're looking for going into Saturday afternoon when the SEC championship is on the line in Atlanta is
run the damn ball, right? Because the last 3 weeks, Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M, Texas's ability to run the ball completely changes the tone of the football game. And if the Texas offense can run the ball against Georgia, then that will take some of the aggression, some of the anger, some of the ferocity out of the Dogs' pass rush. So again, run the ball, whether that's Weisner, Blue, Gibson, all three. Let's run the ball. Let's at least get them on their heels and give our O-line a chance to pass protect better, and give Quinn and or Arch an opportunity to hit some plays in the passing game. So let's run the ball. That's my number one, because they're a different team. I mean, I know our talking point for a good chunk of the season was, offense in a phone booth and limited play calling and limited attacking. But I mean, they are 100% a different team offensively when they can run the ball effectively, as they have against these last three SEC opponents.
Do you think they get it done? I mean, this is and let me ask you this. Do you think that Texas can win this game if they don't establish the run the way they have? Is there any other pathway, or is it this has to be the way?
I think this has to be the way, and just simply because I haven't seen Quinn play at the level where, and again, he's capable, but he hasn't done it this year, where if the run game is stopped and Georgia's able to pin their ears back and just get after the passer, I'm concerned that Quinn and or the offensive line will be able to execute at the level necessary to beat them. But if we can run the ball, it just changes the whole dynamic. I've been feeling 31-17 Texas.
Oh, wow.
Well, and again, I'll go back to, and y'all made the point, I believe it was yesterday, on how it's divided. The number one thing I think is let's avoid Georgia. Let's get them down. You know what I mean? Let's get to Go Penn State, get to the 1 seed. But either way, let's get Georgia out of, I don't want to see them again. So I want Texas by 2 scores, and I want it to be convincing. And I feel it can be convincing if they can run the ball.
You know where I'm going. I'm going quarterbacks. I'm going quarterbacks in this game.
But I noticed you said plural because you're also going to, I see what you're doing here. You're going to say Ewers and Beck, whoever.
Absolutely. They were both of these guys were absolutely wretched in the first game. Georgia won in spite of Carson Beck. And then this is for Quinn Ewers, the game that kind of shattered him personally when it happened. I mean, really had to pick the pieces up and kind of build him back up, I think, from a psychological standpoint, because I think there was a realization that the Heisman was lost that night, if that was ever going to be a thing. And look, he's a finalist for the Manning Award, which is so weirdly ironic that I haven't even completely stopped to think about what that means. But there's an element of this that I hadn't thought about until just now. It's kind of a Quinn Ewers revenge game. I've looked at this through the prism of both guys played poorly the last time these two teams played. And so I know Carson Beck will be motivated.
Yeah.
And look, there's a championship on the line, so everybody's motivated. But I wonder if for Quinn, this is a little more personal than – of all the guys that you would think would want another shot of Georgia on the Texas sidelines, you'd have to believe that Quinn would be at the very top, given the embarrassment that came out of this game. He got benched.
Yeah.
It's still stunning that he played so poorly that he got benched. And you go back and you look at those first half stats at the time of his benching, I don't think he had cracked 20 yards passing. He had turned the ball over a number of times. It was so bad.
Yeah, just stop. Just walk away. Put the knife down, Cast. You're
catching. Well, no, but I wonder.
It was terrible.
I wonder if in this game, whatever Quinn we get on Saturday, I wonder if we would have gotten that Quinn if it hadn't been for what happened in October. Now,
valid.
I'm only throwing this out there on the eve of the game because it hasn't happened yet, but it's something to think about. If Quinn were to come out and have one of his better performances of the season, I think we can look back to this conversation that we're having right now and we'll go, you know what? We did. Yeah. You know what? It does make sense that Quinn was a little bit more dialed in for this week, that he wanted a little bit more, that maybe physically he takes some chance. You think about that A&M game. If they're playing Vanderbilt, I don't think Quinn's running the way that he ran against A&M last week.
He didn't run against Vanderbilt like that.
But hurt with an ankle injury, he's still – I think there was a competitiveness and the stature of the game led him there. I wonder if we get that this weekend. I'm always going to go Quinn Ewers. The quarterback position is kind of important. So, and given what happened in this game in October, it's impossible not to think about. So, it's number 2 on our list. It's number 1 in my heart. What do the quarterbacks do? But most importantly, what does Quinn Ewers do? If Texas can just forget about great, forget about very good. If they can get a good performance from Quinn Ewers, I think they win this ballgame.
I need a B performance. Run the ball, lean on your defense, and
let's B plus could get you to the score that you've got. And
that's true. That's true.
A would definitely get it there, but B plus at least gives you, or a B at least gives you a chance. Okay, number 3. What do you got?
Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Baron Sorrell, Vosick, right? Burke, edge rush, pass rush. Affect Carson Beck the way that the Georgia pass rush affected Quinn Ewers in that first game. Because again, as I think, as good as the defense has been, that Georgia game, when you go back and rewatch it, in full disclosure, I haven't rewatched the whole thing, just parts of it. Our defense did not have the effect on that game, despite the turnovers that they have. Right, it just wasn't to that level. Right, of the number 1 defense in the nation. And I want to see Simmons. I want to see more. I want to see Sorrell. I want to see Burke. I want to see him getting there and forcing Beck to make quick decisions and throw the ball up for grabs where then our DBs are just locked in.
I totally agree. I mean, the more that you can get Carson Beck uncomfortable, the
Yes.
more that you've got a chance to win this game. My number 4 for me is Trevor Etienne for Georgia. They're starting running back, and a guy that rushed for nearly 100 yards and had 3 touchdowns the first time these two teams met. You know, they scored 30, and he was responsible for
20
more than half of their points.
Yeah.
He's not played since Georgia's 28-10 loss at Ole Miss. There's some speculation that he may enter the transfer portal when this season is over with. Kirby Smart hasn't really been transparent or open. I mean, he's saying that he's practiced a little bit, but and officially he's questionable.
Uh-huh.
If they don't have Trevor Etienne, their next guy in line,
the true freshman, right?
Who we saw a little bit of in that game, but I think that Etienne would be a big loss. And I think that when we start talking about, well, remember what happened back in October? No, I do. And if he's not available to do what he did in October, I think this Georgia team, he was excellent.
Yeah.
First matchup. He really was.
Yes.
It was probably his best performance of the season, considering the competition and the stakes and everything on the line. I just don't think it's an insignificant deal if Etienne can't play. And look, if we go back to number 1, what are we saying about the Texas offense, man? Run the ball.
Good point.
Run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, keep the other team, control down and distance and field position and all of these things that come with that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that Georgia can do the other side of that on their end if they don't have Etienne. And I think it's so easy to talk about the quarterbacks and maybe the defenses. The running backs in this game are flying a little bit under the radar. And I would just say, man, what am I looking for? Does that dude play? Because I think if he doesn't, it really ups the ante on the amount of pressure and responsibility throughout the rest of that Georgia offense. And look, while they had some success against this Texas defense, and they had one scoring drive in that game that went longer than 35 yards.
Yeah.
So did they have success? Some success? Yes. Did the Texas defense control them almost throughout the entire game? Yes. So, yeah, Georgia's ability to do what they want, I think, is every bit as much contingent upon Etienne being able to give them not just something. He's got to be 75% at least of what he was in Austin a couple of months ago. So I think we've not talked about that enough this week. Number 4, Trevor Etienne.
All right. Number 5, wide receiver health. What do we get out of Bond? What do we get out of Moore? And I know you've been banging the drum as far as Isaiah Bond is the cheat code for the Texas offense. Where is he at physically? What is he capable of? What is Moore capable of? I mean, I say wide receiver health, but maybe it's wide receiver, who, you know what I mean? Which guy steps up? Is this the Ryan Wingo game, where he makes a statement, or is Bond back, or is Moore? Which wide receiver gives us, again, it could be Golden. Heck, if it's Golden, I think he's gone to the NFL, but that's a whole nother conversation. But let's see which wide receiver does it.
So I've got one more, and I think you're exactly right, man.
Which one? Who is it? Who is it that puts the pressure on him and makes those big plays? I mean, I'd love to see it be Bond, but I just don't think he's healthy. So, is that Moore? Is that Wingo?
If it's Golden as the 1A and Helm as 1B with a little bit of Ryan Wingo sprinkled in there, and then maybe a play or two from Bond, is that enough for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm giving credit to Helm. I think Helm, his ascension this year has been invaluable, and he could be a key piece. But
I've just got one more I want to sneak in.
okay,
Field position.
yeah.
Last game
back to October, yes.
was large. And look, I got in kind of not like an argument with Anwar on our Prize Pick show yesterday. I wouldn't call it that, but
I need to go back and watch that actually before I set some wagers.
there were a lot of lesses, if you want to be completely honest.
Yeah.
He looked at this from the standpoint of, well, look at what Georgia won the game, and they were able to win it with bad quarterback play. And I was like, well, the difference in this game on a night when both teams' defenses played really well and both teams' quarterback turned the ball over quite a bit and were generally pretty terrible. Texas's cardinal sin in that game was continuously turning the ball over and giving Georgia such a short field that they were converting. They weren't getting first downs, but they were coming away with points.
Yeah.
And Texas didn't get similar. Yeah. And I use the example of the A&M game last week, which is, Ewers throws the pick six. The second turnover, the fumble, occurs in the A&M inside their 10-yard line.
Yeah, on the 8 or 7, whatever it was. Yeah.
Had it happened inside Texas's own 10-yard line,
yeah,
the entire scope of the game would be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at this game, I think both defenses are the superior sides.
Yes.
It's likely that they're going to force these quarterbacks into mistakes.
Yes.
If Ewers' mistakes cannot be within shouting distance of the Texas end zone, that changes the game in October significantly.
Oh, yes.
And consequently, can they do to, Carson Beck what Texas had done to them a year ago? There are going to be mistakes in this game. These defenses are going to force the offenses to make some big mistakes. How big, though? Yeah. Are they 7-point mistakes? Are they, we lost field position, but we stopped them and they punted, and it was just a little bit of back and forth ping pong? Field position is everything in this game, and I'm throwing it in as a bonus thing to look for.
Okay.
Because of the last game. It's not, in a lot of ways, you'd say that about any football game, field position. But this game was decided on where the mistakes were made.
Yeah.
And boy, if that's the case again this weekend, then if you're Texas, don't make your mistakes in such a way that the opposing team is immediately in the red zone when they take over the ball. That's how you lose games. That's how Texas lost the only game it's lost this season.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they made mistakes. It's where they made the mistakes. So where does Texas and Georgia make their mistakes this weekend? That honestly could be such a simple thing, but it could be very well the thing.
Yeah, well, and Michael Kern, you're week 13, dude. Like, if you're gonna get it, let's get it this week, or else, hell, please, sweet baby Jesus, let's get in the portal and find a punter. That drives me crazy.
Each of these teams just having one cheapy short field game to work with
could be a difference.
Could be the difference in winning and losing this game. One possession, one single turnover in the wrong part of the field could be the difference between winning and losing. Okay, guys.
One more thing. I know you're excellent.
No, it's a championship game. Give me a bonus.
Okay, well, and again, I'm going to give credit to your Aggie loving partner in crime on House Divided. So critical to get get that higher seed and get the 3 weeks off. Like Chad was breaking that down yesterday, and the more I listened to that, the more I thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh! Like, you talk about how do we win a national championship? That would be a huge first domino, is to have that prep period, that recovery period. That is, I can't get that out of my head too. I wanted to win, obviously, win the SEC champions, but God, setting yourself up for the first playoff. Dang, that's critical. I'm on that. I'm on that too. Okay. Had to get that off my chest. Chad broke that down good. He sold me on that. I was okay. I hadn't thought about it. I was like, okay, we can get one by, but that extended recovery time for Banks and Ewers and Bond, I mean, like, hold on, Bond first. I think the others will be okay, but God, that extra rest. Come on, baby, let's go.
Guys, give me 31-7. I'm going 20-17.
I know.
You're going 31-17.
Yeah. Put it down.
God
Yeah,
damn,
bold
Jeff
print.
Bowerman picking not just a win, but a 2-score ass-kicking win. Hey, they'll be in the icy whites.
They will. I love it.
That's what they want. I think it's interesting that they were the home team.
And they chose
to wear their road unis. I think it says a lot about.
I want to see Sark on game day like he was last Saturday, just locked in. Like, he didn't smile. I was like, okay.
Can I ask you a question? This is the most important thing that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
This entire episode.
Okay.
Do you know who Timothy Chalamet is?
Oh, God. No. I know. Should I Google it now?
Well, he is the official celebrity guest picker on game day.
For tomorrow? Okay.
Yes.
Who the hell is he now?
He's literally one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
I know. We talked about this. The kids, sports. I don't do enough movies. I rely on you guys.
He's Willy Wonka.
Okay.
That movie only made like $1 billion.
Okay. You're outing my lack of pop culture, Ketch.
And he's also the star of Dune and Dune 2.
Okay.
Well, so his last 3 big movies have made over $2 billion.
Yeah, he's not right. Okay.
And he's dating Kylie Jenner.
Okay. There you go.
He's dating a Kardashian. He has 20 million followers on Instagram. The thing is, this was announced when this was announced yesterday, the consensus on Orange Bloods.
Okay. What was the feedback? What was the response?
Who's this girl?
So I'm not alone.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm Orange Blood. See, I'm right there with the rest of
I had my fingers crossed that you were going to go, I know who that is because the women. So I was talking with Chad earlier, and Chad didn't know.
Okay, good. See,
but no, he knows who Timothy Chalamet is.
Okay,
he didn't know that he was a guest picker.
Okay,
so he brings his daughter into the room.
Yeah,
and goes, "Guess who the guest picker is on game day tomorrow?"
Yeah,
she's like, "Who?" Timothy Chalamet. I heard her in the background go, "Oh, really?"
Oh.
And suddenly she's in.
Okay.
I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, if Timothy Chalamet is making picks tomorrow, would you watch?" Yes. So
I'm
fellas,
going to see what she says.
They are not booking Timothy Chalamet for you. They've got you.
Yeah.
They know that you're going to stick around to see who Corso picks.
Yeah.
This is about getting your wife and your daughters.
Yes.
And like every woman that you know under the age of 40, they want that extra viewership. And I will say this, Chalamet is a charismatic son of a gun. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
He will stun everybody with his picks performance tomorrow.
So he could go nine. What's their season? 8-3 or 8-2? I forget what it was.
I'm not saying he's going to get all his picks right.
Okay.
I'm saying that everybody's like, rebel. Why is this guy coming on here?
Yeah,
he's not even
affiliated.
I bet he shows up and delivers the type of performance. He's an A-list movie star.
Yeah.
When you get these guys on camera and let them cook,
cook. Yeah, let them land the plane.
Let him be a star.
Yeah.
And I bet tomorrow's game day is one that we'll remember. Okay. That is the final Jeff and Jeff until next week when we'll do something slightly different. And then we got playoff games coming up. 13 weeks.
Whew, it's been awesome.
We're at the moment where an SEC championship, Jeff, is about to be decided.
Let's go win a trophy. Then we get to talk about it.
Jeff, next week might be nothing more than like a full-on 20-minute gloat section. 5 things to look for in Jeff Bowerman's celebration win over Georgia.
I'll recount my steps of celebration. It'll be great.
I want pictures. Pictures. We got to be able to go full screen Jeff celebration. All right, guys.
We're here for it, Catch. Let's
go.
Do us
a solid. Like this video. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to the page. All of those things. And by all means, when you're done watching this, keep watching Jeff and Jeff every single week right here on Orange Bloods Live. Later.